So I just she said me how it started. The simple thing is like I was studying Bachelor in Social Work in one of the best university. I don't know how I got through it, but I got it, into that university. I was studying a social work, and where I got a chance to visit the jail as my internship program, and when I went inside the prison for the first time, I saw this girl, Sano Kanchitama. She was just playing in the ground, and I was just moving around with the police and everything, and I just holded her in my arm, In Atlantic, it's a common thing to hold anyone kids, And when I just holded her, she just gave me a big smile. And when I just kept it down, one of the officers also said to me that don't hold her because her mother had killed her father, and she's like big aggressive, So when I just kept the baby down, she just holded my cloth, and it made me feel like why she's doing this to me, and she just gave me a big smile, and that was it. I thought that she wants me, and I want her in my life. So what had happened was in that year, so like I was a kind of a troublemaker in my college also, and I was been suspended a year from my college because I was bunking my classes. And that was the perfect time for me, because I had to show my college that, whatever decision you made was a wrong decision. And, so I had to prove my parents, I had to prove myself also, and that was the reason. Sanokanchi was the reason to start this early childhood development center, a butterfly home. Okay, as a child, I was a kind of a privileged girl. I was brought up in a good family, went to a good schooling, everything. But my father was like kind of a person, he brought up us like a boy. I swear, throughout my life, I never got a chance to wear even a skirt, I was desperately dying to wear even a skirt, anything. I was being brought up like a boy. But that was not my lifestyle. Because being a family, coming back from a family of a business, your parents always want you to be in a business. Like a parents from a doctor always want their kids to be a doctor. Even my father also thought that Pushpa should be a business person, but that was not the thing. That was not the thing that was making me happy. I wanted something different in my life. Seeing my passion, my dream, that was not the thing I wanted in my life. But I knew whatever decision I make, my father would really make me angry, or I would make him angry too also. And the thing what changed my life was when we had to give after I went to class 10, I had to give a big exam, like school certificate living exam. In that, 128 students gave the exam, and I was the only one to fail from that college school. And that was it. My father was like, you will never study, There was a big thing in my family because I was the first one to give that exam, and I was like, fine and okay. And my father thought now I think it's best for you to get married. I was like, no, don't get me married. Give me one chance. And the best thing was my mom was there. She said that give her one chance, let her study. And that time was the time for me to prove myself that yes, I failed, but you should give a second chance. So that was the thing. After that, I finished my 11 and 12. Finally, I passed without failing any subject, which was good for me also and good for my family. And so that's how my background was. And starting this Krishna is a little girl. I just wanted to tell a story about this girl who was born inside the prison. Her mother had killed her father, and she was her mom was pregnant, and she was born inside the prison. She had never came out from the prison throughout her whole life. For 4 years, she was inside the prison with the parents, with the mom. And the first time when we went to pick her up from the prison, it was almost a 4 days walk from the Kathmandu main city to go to this place, Jajapur. So when we got all the papers, everything signed, when the door was open from the prison, she just ran like anything. We could not hold her because that was her first time in her life. She saw a tree, people, cow, dogs, and everything. Through her life, she just saw a big wall, sky, one big tree, and 2 women. So those were the things that was making me oh, I have to do something for this kid. Now she's the most happy girl in my place. But the sad thing is last year, mom got released from the prison, and she she never wanted her daughter. Now she came out from the prison and she got married to another guy. But I'm happy, at least she has a safe place. She's not been sold, she's not been going to anyone how to work as a domestic child. So I'm happy for her. This is a story just a 1 week ago when I came here. This mom was selling a drug from India to Nepal, and she was using that boy to hide that drug in the stomach. So the mother is in the prison, and the little boy is he's with us in the ECDC. It's so sad to see, what Robin was showing the video, that made me cry and everything. But there are some other mothers also, just because of the economic, because they are not educated, they didn't have that childhood, like what childhood we had. This is a little Pushpanjali, because her name came up with my name, because my name is Pushpa and her name is Pushpanjali. 2 years back, she was being handed over me by her government. Imagine what was the story behind this girl. Her dad killed her mom because the mom didn't make an omelette, so he kept a kerosene and burned her alive. And she was just on the side. But I'm happy that, she's with me. Now she's the princess out here in my place. She loves everything. But the father is in the prison for 10 years and he doesn't want her to be seen. So I'm happy for that. But someday it's sad that, this childhood, that life, what they are having. But we do kind of a storytelling art therapy also. I'm studying a world of education. It's more like a nature world and painting and this kind of thing. He's a Prashna. He wants to be a driver in his future because he thinks that he comes from a very remote place, from a remote prison, and recently, just 2-3 months back, the transportation is there are access of transport, and he thinks that a driver is the best job to have because he gets to have mobile and girls are floating around, and he thinks the driver is the best job. His father is in prison for selling an illegal of animal skin for 20 years. And now he and his sister is here. So if he sees anyone who comes for visiting to our place with car, he just said that make me a driver, So now when we go back, I say, oh, no, what do you want to be driving? He said, Mom, now I want to be a driver for the plane because every time he sees me flying in the sky, so he thinks that's the best job to do. Biras, both the parents are in prison for selling drugs. So they are mostly for 20 years and he was just 13 years old and he used to carry 30 kilo of rice to survive himself. So there are some cases where both the parents are in prison and where the kids are outside, they don't have anyone to look after. We get those kind of kids to our place. Now he's in class 9 and he wants to be a British soldier because he thinks that's the best job. Because then what is the thing also that what happens in our country, because the prison is being looked after by the army people and the police people, and all the kids think that that's the best job, because that's the way they respect and they look after the police in a different way. They think that's the best job, which is natural for any kind of people also think. And this is the one of my unsuccess story throughout my 10 years of journey. I started in 2005 when I was 20, and when I was 20, I was running to 21, and I think when I was 25 years old, this is the only unsuccess story of mine so far, because the government people could not understand what I was trying to do. When I went to this prison, I asked them can I have these kids with it? And the government people said me that we don't know who are you, Pushpa, you might just take our kids and sell it. I was like, damn, I'm not going to sell anyone kids, It's already 10 years I've been running this place. So these are the things, because when you're too young, people don't trust you, which is true. And I feel that that's true, but someday it's difficult for all educators. In our country, people stay in that position or place if they are not educated also, but we can't help that. So this is my unsuccess story. So this picture back of my country, in my office, I made it into a big. So every time I see that picture, and that makes me I have to do more. You know, that picture makes me like, this is what makes me do more and motivates me also. And these are my like little happy face of my kids, and some of them are girls also. So like, you know, we prefer to have a short hair, so because it's easy to look after and to the kids and everything. And after the CNN, you know, what is the best thing that happened in my life? After the CNN, my life completely changed. Completely. The way people look at me is like, oh my gosh, she's a CNN. But that's not the truth, you know. The way people look at me, but when I'm back, you know, I clean my toilet, I do my everything stuff. But things have changed. Like, now it's easy for the government people to work. Now whenever I go to any government people, the first thing is like the people who are staying on the chair, they would just get up and just sit down, you know. I'm like, oh, I'm the same person, you know. So things have changed in my life. But whatever money we got from CNN, I almost got like $300,000 from the CNN. I brought the big plot of land. That was my dream project because it's already 5 places we've been shifting from one place to another. And I brought a big, beautiful, beautiful land for my kids, because for any parents, you know, they always want to have a house for their kids. So where they, tomorrow, if in case anything happens, at least they have a shelter also. So this is a plot of a land, so where now the construction is being going on. And the most important thing for what I feel and what we feel is that all my kids are like butterfly, because now my kids are like caterpillar, you know, because nobody wants to touch it. Like, you know, whenever I go to any place, they do ask, what kind of kids do you look after? And I say like, oh, the kids from the prison. They say, kids from the prison? Oh my God, poor little kids. No, don't think my kids are poor, you know, because if you give them a nice education, nice opportunity, nice platform, nice environment, tomorrow definitely they'll turn out to be a nice butterfly. And I feel that tomorrow definitely, if I give them an education, environment, everything, tomorrow they'll be the butterfly and everyone will say, wow, what a butterfly these kids are. So I feel these kids are like my little butterfly for me. Thank you. The success story of one of my children, like the exam, the same exam what I gave, like 128 students, I was the only one to fail. This year, my daughter gave the exam. It means from the organization, she gave the exam. She came in a distinction. She stood one of the top from her school, you know, and that made me a proud mother that yes, I did it, you know. So now that was the success story, and she went back to the same college this year where I studied. So all my teachers were really happy to see that, oh, it doesn't matter if a mom is good, bad, you know, the kids are not bad, you know. So that's my success story. About my kids, I think yeah, she's the one who's like, I always look at her, because after 5 years, I want my kids to stand up here and tell her story, that how the organization changed her life, not like me, you know, so yeah.
And do you feel culturally that people might be changing their perceptions of children of people, parents who are in prison?
Yes, like 5 years back, if we used to walk in the road, people used to, oh, look at those kids from the prison, you know, look at this little kid, so sad, you know, oh my God, the parents have done this and that. Now when my kids are walking, look at those kids from the CNN area, and my kids are like, oh no, you know. So things have changed. It's how you make the things, yeah.
And don't let me hog the microphone. Please come up if you have questions to ask. One last one I will ask, and that is, with the children, their dreams change when they see hope, and you offer them hope. So how are they dreaming differently?
I think now when they dream, like this older daughter, she dreams like, I think definitely like things have changed in their life, but the dreaming is like now, Lakshmi is my older daughter who gave her school leaving certificate exam, and now she's into the same college where I studied. Now she wants to, because I never went to United States to study, my dream is like one of my kids should go to United study and do her study out there. On her graduation day, I want to take her mom to her graduation and to make her feel, look, what have they done by your time, you know, your crime and everything. But if you give your children a nice education, that's my dream. And I think she followed that dream too. Also. She wants her mom and me to go for her graduation. And I'm really excited for that.
Great, thank you. And we do have questions. We'll start here. Here, you can use my microphone.
Hi, Push. My name is Anne. I'm representing the University of Adelaide from Australia. I would like to ask, I understand raising children. I come from a divorced family, so I understand how hard it is as a kid, and I've got two younger brothers, to explain to them that it's not their fault, and what the parents do is, it's got nothing to do with them. In your case, it's even more difficult having parents that are involved in drugs and murder. How do you explain to the kids what the parents have done is not socially acceptable, but at the same time not to criminalize the parents in the mind of the child, because at the end of the day it is still their parents and they're such young kids? How do we I find it hard, being 23 years old, to understand and meet people who have done that and still be able to respect them and not judge them for their actions, and understanding that they are just human and everybody is fighting their own battles. How do you go about explaining that to these children, and for them to grow up having that understanding of what their parents have done and motivate them to be more than the social perceptions that are forced on them?
I think due to our culture also, because in our country it's like you are exposed to anything. Like if anything happens, you talk about it. You don't hide from anyone. But regarding the crime the parents have done, it's very difficult for me to speak. Even if the kids who are 3, 4, I can't speak. Like if they talk, if they say also like some of the kids I do have, they come and say, Mama, my dad did this, and I just. You just let it go. But after a certain time, like after you're 10 years old, I do storytelling and art therapy. So with the painting and everything, then you tell them what's the true thing, because then you have to face the reality. Because after a certain time, the parents come out from the prison, they go back to the normal life. They wait for a certain time and the kids go back, then they have to accept the reality. So that's the thing. But you have to tell the kids, I think. In our country, due to the culture also, we do tell them. But with the little ones, no, I can't explain them because, it's difficult for me to explain them. Because somewhere within my office, I have to be professional, but outside my office, I'm not professional. I'm a mother for this kid. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
Hi, I'm Lisa from Malaysia. Firstly, congrats because you are such a great mama. And then, can I know about the range of the age for the children that stay at your butterfly home? And then, secondly, as we know that you come from a well-to-do family, which is a family business background. So, who is the main person that encourage you to go on with your dreams? Because I believe that to prove it is not easy. It's something that you have to become a very strong.
I think the age from in the shelter that I have is like 18 months to 19 years old, and the kids number, but the number of girls are high. We just have 10 boys, rest all are girls. And the person who have really encouraged me, because I think my mom is the one, because that's the true thing. Because still now my mom is always there for me, but someday I feel that my heart is something that really makes me melt and really makes me strong. But I think for my heart also, my mom plays a very important role in my life. Like Robin said, she's the one who I had for 9 months. I think nobody could ever understand me like my mother. And that's the thing that I want to pass on to my kids. And it's true that biological I'm not their mother, which is a hard for me also, because sometimes, when these kids do, they do mistake, I feel like, oh my God, why they've done this kind of mistake? But what to do? I need to forgive them, because that forgiveness I got from my mother. I think so, yeah. I think my mother is the one for me. Yes, my father is there, but my mother.
Common theme today. Thank you.
Thank you.
And your question.
Hi, Pushpa. My name is Tina. I'm from Perth, Australia. Thank you very much for the speech. I'm 30, so I'm close to your age, and it's extremely inspiring to see what you've achieved at this age in your life. My question is what determines like who you take from the prison, and are there parents within the prison that don't want their children taken? How are you able to go in and intervene in those situations?
So how do you choose which children, and do parents ever say, no, you cannot take my child?
At the beginning, it was like I used to go to the prison and ask the government or like authority, like if there are any kids like who want to come to our place for to stay. But now it's like I still have 20 kids on the line. They want to come to my shelter because now 7 kids living within the house. I can't take too much of my kids out here. But yes, after the Butterfly Home project, we are looking forward to having 70 kids. But we prefer to have kids who are for long-term prison. Like, both the parents. Sometimes you might have a parents who are both the parents also. But we prefer to have kids who are like for 20 years, 30 years. I have a girl whose mom is like, she's in prison for 30 years. By the time her mom comes out, she'll be like 68. I'm like, that's the time. But I think at the time of the period also, we would prefer like to have long time.
Hello Pushpa, I'm Shilpa from Nepal. I'm really thankful for whatever, all the works you have done in Nepal, and through you and through your success, and especially thankful to CNN for recognizing you, because you made us believe that one person can make a difference. But I do have a question for you today, and my question is, since we come from an upper middle class sort of family, so our family has a plan for us. We're like, you study, you do a job for a few years, and then you get married, and then the whole thing, the cycle starts again. So I would like to ask, to start out with this plan, how did you convince your parents? Because first of all, you have to convince your parents, right? So I would like to know, how did you actually start up?
Like what you said in our culture, and mostly I think in Nepal and India, things are already done up by your parents even for your grandchildren and everything, Even for me, because both my parents are working parents, so my parents wanted me to be a business person, but that was not me what I wanted to do. But I had to break down the circle of my family, that the goal should be, let me fly my way, I might fall down, I'll get up, I can fly, so that was the thing also. But as in our culture, I had to break down the circle of my family. I think almost for 2 months my dad never spoke up. You would not believe, throughout my whole life, my father never hugged me, never hugged me. But the day when I won the CNN award, I came back to Nepal, I was in the airport, the first time in my life my father hugged me, and I was like, okay, this is it, So this is it, that happened, And even to the CNN, I said, yes, it's true that, I got this award, I got the money, but the best thing that I got my father hug, that was, almost for 28 years, I never got a hug, So that was the best thing for me. But yes, I had to break down the circle for my family, the way we are looked out, because now Pushpa should get married, she should have kids. Now I'm 31, and nobody wants to get married, because 31 have 47 kids, so things are there. But I think, yeah, I had to break down my circle from family, and I think my mom was always there for me, but I believed what I did. I fell down so many times in my life, in my education, even in the organization thing, but always I believed myself. I know what I did, I'm right. People are there to pull your legs and everything, but you just believe in yourself. If you believe in yourself, then your rest family will live. Even with my thing, because I believe in what I was trying to do, and now my father would say, you made a good decision,
Hello, Pushpa. My name is Indra, and I'm from Mongolia, and I'm representing Go Help UK charity. So our organization also goes to the prison to meet the mothers and their children. So my question is, how often do the children see their parents or maybe their relatives?
Mostly the kids all once in a month, the older ones are not allowed to go and stay inside the prison, but the little ones are allowed to go and stay inside the prison. So in a year, we have 2 months holiday, in the summertime and in the festival time. So they go all back in the prison, they live inside the prison. Because that's the most important thing for any kid, because the connection between a child and a mother have to be there. Like I was saying, like I visited in the United States also, Canada, and it's so sad to see, mostly the parents would say for what I should be a good, like they won't come back and stay inside the prison again because, the facility that was given by the government. And they don't have a connection between a child and a mother. So that's the thing. But in our country, it's true that our country is poor, like economically we are down, but somehow I really respect that they do respect the connection between a child and a mother. And they go and visit. And because we work with 24 prison, once the kids who come from a really far prison, we do Skype. So I really have a good government now. We do Skype with them, so make sure that they are connected. Because sometimes what happens, things with all the Kathmandu light and food and everything, children might start forgetting. So that's the most important for us to have a connection. Yeah.
Pushpa and I were talking about sometimes more likely to end up in prison yourself, but it's not the same because they allow these children to stay connected to their parents. That's how significant the parental connection is. Your question?
Namaste, Pushpa Devi. I'm Harriet, I'm from Australia, and I was just wondering how, when you were first setting up your organisation, you overcame the, I guess, bureaucracy that comes with working with the government in Nepal.
Yes, in our country, we do have those kind of things happens. Now, with the CNN money, when I wanted to get the CNN money back in my country, I had a very hard time. The first thing they asked me, $300,000 is a big amount. Oh, is she Pushpa getting that award money or it's a grant money? Because if it's an award money, I have to give my government 25% of that money. So that. In my country, the first thing they were focusing on what Pushpa was getting that money, grant or award. The best thing what CNN did was they made it into a grant so that I don't have to pay them anything money, So yes, we do get into the bureaucracy things and everything. But now when they see me, I'm like a straight, a horse means which doesn't move anyway. But I don't get into any politics things. That's the most important thing. In my shelter, politician are not allowed to visit. We have strictly said that no politicians are allowed because this is my temple. We come from every caste, religion, and everything, and we are a family. So that's the thing. But sometimes, yes, I do get into they do ask me money and this kind of, but I'm not person. I'm see, what I'm trying to do, I'm not doing a job that a government people have to do, right? You should be thankful that I'm doing a job from your side, So I don't think so now they would get me into a trouble because CNN is tagged in my life. Thank you.
How do they react when you say politicians cannot come?
They would say no, we just want to come a family visit. I'm sorry, I'm busy. Because you get so scared with this politician, because when we had an election, there were a couple of political parties, they wanted me to come and come and just stand on the thing, I was no. So I think when we had the election 6 months back, my mobile was switched off for almost for 1 month. I was no, I don't want you to get into trouble.
Hi, my name is Rosa. I'm a delegate from Melbourne. I just want to ask if you ever tried to maybe fight the system so the government have a better policy for treatment of children with criminal parents.
Yes, in 5 years, yes, I want to work in the policy changing because now, see, whatever happens, you need to have an experience. I can't just go and talk about, oh, this is the thing that has to be, because now I have at least for 10 years experience, I can say, see, this is what I've been working, so now we have to change it to this thing. And I think they would change because I have experienced that. So I want to take a time at once because now my focus is in making a butterfly home, because this is the thing also, the success on my life is that whatever thing I take one at a time. Now my butterfly home, because next October the house is going to be completed in next year. So after that, definitely you'll see me making policy changes.
And that's the key, isn't it? Policy changes, as we heard from our previous speaker. Thank you. Your question.
Hello, I'm Lucas from, I'm also a social work student in Northern of Malaysia University. Can I ask him a question? How many children in butterfly home, and is it some what you got children in HIV and AIDS in butterfly?
And is there an issue with HIV and AIDS with children you accept?
So now in the butterfly home we have 47 children living within the house, and we do run a daycare center in Kathmandu prison, where every morning the kids come out from the prison, they go to a private school, they study, and they go back inside the prison because they're too small to be separated from the parents. And the other thing, now this year what happened was like every year whenever we take kids, new kids come, we do HIV, hepatitis, and everything. We make sure that the medical is the strongest thing in our country, because that's the thing. And last year what problem I faced, this kids were like, he was been with me for almost 8 years. Last year that they found out that his mom had HIV/AIDS because she was a drug user and everything. Both her parents were found, and again I had to check his medical. But thank God he never had it. But yes, we do get those kind of, because some of the parents are like they've been working as prostitution, and later on when they get HIV they start selling the human trafficking. Yes, we get those kind of, because we have open border to India, so that's the thing also.
Okay, thank you. God bless you.
Thank you.
And your question.
Okay, thank you very much. Good afternoon, Pushpa. I'm Sizwe from South Africa. I would like to give a little bit of background to my question. My question is on sustainability. In South Africa, we've witnessed that a lot of great initiatives such as Butterfly, they would close down when the founder is no longer there. People would give up on such. So I want to know what is key to you and Butterfly Home as a sustainability plan to ensure continuity. Thank you.
For the sustainability of our organization for the Butterfly Home is that we do make handicraft things. We do make handicraft things that is made by the mother who have come out from the prison. Because before, I used to work inside the prison, it was very difficult, because every day you have to take so much thing inside the prison, security and everything. And so now what we're doing is the mother who have come out from the prison, we make bags and jewelries and this kind of thing. And we do lots of, because I'm a person with the painting, so I do lots of painting, and we do lots of exhibition back in New York for our event, for fundraising, and for the Butterfly Home. But I think yes, we do income generated by making handicraft things.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And on a larger scale, do you have plans for who might take over? Are you grooming someone or?
Yes, now I have a kid, she's Ina, she's 19 years old, but her IQ is 8 years old, but she's very good in handicrafting. So we try to make sure that, what kind of interest our kids also have it, Now she's more into handicrafting, so we try to adjust into her handicrafting, so that, in future she's strong.
And for the foundation itself, who do you want to see it take past when you are no longer able to run it?
Yes, I really look forward, so this is the thing that, because I have every 5 years plan, within this 5 years, I have to make my Butterfly Home. Within the 5 years, 10 years, I would see my older daughter Lakshmi to come to my as a president and to run that organization, because you have to let it go. You can't say I'm the one to run, I have to have some of my friends to go, no, because my story is sold out. People know my story, right? Now it's my kid's story that has to come and say that, see, if we have this kind of organization, that life can change us. Yes.
Thank you.
Hi Pushpa, my name is Abby and I'm from New Zealand. I just want to thank you for your talk. It was really inspirational, and I think that there should be more people in the world like you. I just have a quick question. How often do the children return to their parents once their parents are released from prison.
How often do children return to live with their parents if they are short-term in prison or long-term in prison? How often do children go back to parents when parents are released from prison?
So what happens is like, once the parents they get released from the prison, we wait for that year for the children to come, to finish that school, because he or she is going to a different school. After that, the parents have to take the kids back because, there are some other kids waiting for that place to come and get that facility, So we make sure that it's like a rotation, not like, I have that kids for all my life, but like now, 14 kids, I have 14 kids whose parents have come out from the prison and they ran away, they don't want them. So yes, for that kids, I have to look after them throughout my whole life, yes. But other kids, we wait for a year, then they go back to their family. But they do come and visit us, but the sad point is whenever the parents come out from the prison, I make sure that I never say them bye, because that's a hard time for me, because all the year you've been looking after them, and what is the true thing is that is their original mom, I'm just a biological mother, so that's the thing.
Thank you.
So the majority, they go back to their parents.
Yes. Almost 120 kids have already come to our place, they have taken the facility, and they've gone back to their parents.
Hello, Pushpa. I'm Danin. I'm a delegate from Cambodia, and I really appreciate of you to reach this goal. And as you are now a hero of the year, and you did really face a lot of difficulty from your life to reach this goal. And I believe that you will give all on time of your life to help them. And the question is about, do you have plan to help another children who really lost their confidence, not only for the prisoner? Thank you.
Yes, what you're saying is true, but what happens after the CNN and everything, people thought that, Pushpa, you should do things like, conflict, street, and this kind. See, this is the thing that why an organization is not run very well, because we try to take too much thing on your plate, and you try to eat so much thing that doesn't digest the food. So this is the thing, for the organization also, we try to have too much thing and the reports and everything. I'm a person I would say take one food, have nicely, digest it properly, and give it back properly. So this is the thing. So now I just want to focus on the prison thing because that's my majority field, and I think because that's what my life changed. But till now, I don't think I should do another field because there are other people also. Because if I start doing everything, I would be nowhere. I think I would just go for one with the prison thing because that's the thing where I can change the policy and where I can say the government, see, this is my experience, what I've been facing, and this. Now this is how we have to work. I think people should divide their work and do it as a teamwork rather than just taking all the work by themselves.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi Pushpa, my name is Sasha and I'm from Australia. I just wanted to ask, I know many countries have class systems and perceptions of children who have parents in prison. Did this create a lot of barriers for you, especially in education, and how did you conquer these barriers?
Yes, in my shelter we have kids who come from a lower caste, so mostly all the kids are lower caste, but sometimes when we do a spiritual puja, what we say in our place, I have a priest who's a very well-known priest. He comes and he does to everyone, So at that time, it's very difficult to say which caste, what you come. The most important thing that what I try to mention is that you have to be a good human being. It doesn't matter what caste you come from. The environment plays a very important role for this kind of kids. It doesn't matter what, if your parents come from prison, if I come from anything, it just matters that what is your thing, what comes from your heart. Now look, I was brought up in a family, where I am, why should I go and work for this kid? But that's what I wanted in my life. I think you have to have the thing from inside also. But I don't think so now, because in our country the caste system is changing, because the government also has if you get inter-caste marriage, you get $1,000 from the government. So things are changing in our country.
Right, now, thank you. Your question.
Hi, Pushpa. I'm Hui Ming from Malaysia. So I really want to thank you for what you are doing, because what you are doing is actually quite close to what I plan to do in the future. So when I was, I'm a medical student, so when I was doing my clerkship in psychiatry ward, I can see that a lot of people who came in who were hospitalized, either one of their parents was in prison or they were in prison themselves. And if you do like psychiatry interview, you see that the history is that they have been spending years back and forth between psychiatry ward and prison. So they were prison, and then when they are out, they are sent into psychiatry ward, and they are out, and then they are sent into prison again. So it's just kind of repetitive, and if we don't break this vicious cycle, either through stopping the children of prisoners to become prisoners themselves, and also to stop like prisoners being stigmatized and they can't get like a job elsewhere and then come back again and again and again. And so what I'm asking is, are you planning to like expand your works like to the parents as well? So not only focusing on the children, but on the parents as well, because once they are out from the prison, they're probably not going to get anywhere if we kind of like, if we have the stigma and discrimination around. And I kind of feel really sad. It breaks my heart every time I see like patients coming back again and again. Like they came in police cars. Most of the time they came in police cars brought by the police and with their hand locked out and everything. It just kind of breaks my heart. And I think I really thank you for what you're doing, breaking the vicious cycle. I'm just asking, are you planning to expand it to like parents as well? Thank you.
Thank you. In addition to what happens, like what I've seen, like within these 10 years, I have seen like mostly the women or the men who get involved into drug case, trafficking case, they come back, like, you know, once they go back, they come back again, because, you know, what I have seen is like, you know, when the father or the mother gets into a drug, you know, they are like, they get like hold by the police by the little amount, you know. Once they go inside the prison, they have a big networking of people, you know, and they will say like, okay, next time we have to do a big amount of the thing. Then those kind of people, yes, they come back forth and inside and outside. But the mothers who have killed their husband, or like, you know, the father who have killed their wife, these people are, it's very difficult for them to again come back to the same to the prison, because that happened suddenly, you know. So this is the thing what I have seen so far. Like in our country, like we don't have those kind of policy, like, you know, counseling or those kind of thing. But some of the kids with my parents, like with my kids' parents, yes, we do, like, you know, we do storytelling, because this is the, because I'm not a person like, you know, who takes down the paper and say like, what was the background, what did you do? We do like art, like, because once in a year I have older kids and their parents stay in a circle and we do storytelling and art therapy. From that I can see what they are thinking and how they see their life. Yes, we do that, but we don't think so, like in our country also we don't have that kind of policy, like, you know, government giving a counseling. That's too beyond our bound to think about government.
Unfortunately, it's beyond the bounds of many governments. I think mental health and its link to crime is still a mystery that we haven't unraveled. I have a question.
Namaste, Pushpa. I'm from Ecuador, and my name is Valeria. So I was wondering, until what age can your children stay at your shelter? And I was also wondering if you have some kind of training for them, if you give them some skills for their future. So what are also the plans for their future, whether they can stay at your shelter as long as they want, or whether they can do their own thing outside of your shelter?
So the age is like from 18 months to 19 years old, but in my shelter, like we do have, because I was brought up in a boarding school, and I think that's the best life you have in boarding school, your childhood life. And I love being with my friends. I would not say I hated being with my parents, because I never had a friend, but I would say I love my friends. And now at my shelter we have like Charya dance, it's a Buddhism dance, it's a very spiritual dance. They do Taekwondo, they play an international match also. And we do lots of different kind of activities also, because, so this is the thing, because I don't want these kids to feel that they have been, like, you know, been looked after into a shelter, or because we are a family, we have to be like a family. So they do like computer classes and like handicraft things, we do those kind of things also. But I think we do have lots of extra activities in our shelter also.
And in terms of the education, you send them to school, right?
Yes.
Is there a vocation?
And also until what age can they stay at the shelter?
So now this case with the Lashmi, who gave her school leaving certificate this year. Just before her result came out, her mom got released from the prison. And the first thing that she said to me is that she doesn't want to leave this place. She said that my mom can't give the education, my mom can't give me the facility that I get, which is true. I need to accept that and she need to accept that. And I said, fine, you can stay with us. But in our government policy, 16 is the time that they have to leave the organization. But for this goal, I had to change my constitution book, saying that, okay, I'm going to have a youth program, like, if they can stay for the higher education also. But it changed things. This is the thing. I learned, I experienced, I changed the thing in my constitution book also, because I never thought that, I would come so far for this organization. So yes, I think because this girl, like, she's going to the same college where I studied, and she's been offered from one of the best university from the United States. She's been traveling to United States to study. So I think we try to create that opportunity. It's just that they have to grab that opportunities. I can take that, but they need to eat that, right? So yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And as I make my way over here, I know that a lot of this sparks conversation and interest. If you feel you need to discuss it with your partner, please go to the hallway so that we can hear the questions and answers in your question.
Hello, Pushpa. I'm Yusuf from the Philippines, and I would like to congratulate you for a very nice presentation, and you have moved everybody here in the room. So I feel so sorry for the slide that you shared to us about one of the unsuccess stories when you try to get a child from the prison, but the policemen the people from the prison wouldn't allow you to get them from you. So now you were awarded as a CNN hero, and you are a very influential person. Do you think that is an edge or an advantage for you? A power for you to get now or fight for the child to get out from the prison and probably accommodate them to your butterfly home?
So thank you for sharing the thing, but this kid's already been out from the prison. They're out from the prison, but see, what is the thing that you always look on the positive side, right? But there are other negative side of my side also. It's easy to climb Mount Everest, right? For me. It took me 10 years to come onto this place. 10 years it took me but it doesn't even take me a 10 seconds to come down. That's true, and that's the reality for anyone's success story. And I think, like, to share the story, I always don't want to show you that, this is the thing that is going, but there are other things of my side of the story also. But she got her mom got released. This is already back, I think, 2007. The story was on 2007. So she's back with her family. But after the CNN, things have changed. So now the government people can't say me even a word, I think so, which is true. Even my college and everything, whatever I say, they will say like, oh, she's spoken something, but which is the true also. But I think that's the reality, and I have to face the reality. I can hide from the reality, and that's who I am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi Pushpa, I'm Saranyana from Singapore. My question is, how to make children understand that it is really okay to have parents from the prison? How to make them understand that it's really alright? And in Singapore, people are more obsessed about saving their face, and I believe there is a lack of help for those whose parents are in the prison. They do have social welfare places to get help from. And how to create awareness and inspire them to work hard to succeed.
Like I was talking to mostly what I have seen in the foreign countries, because these kids are being separated from the parents, right? They are sent to the foster care. They would never say that where their parents are, or where they are. But suddenly when they tell them for the lifelong, it's hard time for the kids. But in our country, because of the culture also, because they think like the connection is the most important thing for the child and for the mother. So they send the kids, at least some way. They are in a safe hand inside the prison. They are not sold in India, or they are not sold into trafficking or any kind of thing. But I think it's difficult for me to exact tell how it's going to be, but I don't think so.
Yeah, one more question. Do you have mental health professionals working with these kids and accepting their differences in comparison to other children who come from normal families?
Mental
health professionals.
No, we don't have that mental. So this is the thing that Yes, you have so many issues to ask me, but what's the most important thing that I run this shelter or this home as a family. You know, if there is a problem in a family, you're not going to have anything because of our culture, I think so. Because I'm not going to have a person who's going to be the counseling, I think, because I'm a mother. I think I can understand my kids better than anyone. I can bet for that, I think so. You know, so that's the most important thing. Yes, we do have staff people, but I think I can understand my kids. So that's how I run my place, and that's how I look after my kids.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi Pushpa, thank you for sharing the inspiring speech. My name is Obi. I'm a delegate from Japan. I have one question. It's a little bit weird, but what is your things that you want to see in the future in Nepal by organizing the butterfly project?
What's your dream for the future in Nepal by organizing the butterfly?
Because leader always have their own original visions, each leader. So I just want to see what you want to see in the future in Nepal.
In future, like what I was seeing this butterfly was that this facility should be given to all the kids who are still living in the prison. Still like 83 kids are living in the prison because after I came back here and like we rescued almost like 17 kids. I could not take more kids because with the space and everything, but definitely with my future vision, like I would see like more kids coming out, and I would like to see my older daughters going back to their own community and opening a different small branch of the butterfly one, to have their own butterfly. I'm like a mother butterfly, so I have a kids butterfly.
That's a beautiful picture.
Thank you very much.
Hi Pushpa, I'm Pisai, is delegate from Cambodia. I'm really impressed about your presentation. Thank you very much. And my question is, I heard that you train the kids in stay in butterfly, and you provide lots of things like counseling support and relate to not just physical. But I wonder if the kid back home, what kind of support that you provide to the family?
With the family, like we do handicraft things. We make walled doors, which is being exported to Sweden. Like it's highly recommended by the Swedish people because they feel that that doll is very special for anyone. So we train the mothers who have come out from the prison, and we work with them making handicraft things.
So you actually give vocational training to the
Yes.
parents of
Yeah.
keep a more stable home.
Yes.
Okay, thank you for your question.
Hello Pushpa, I am Panchita, a delegate from Thailand. I really admire your work. Just a small thing can change many people's life. Yeah. For question of mine is, according to plenty of children and different nature in butterfly homes, do your assistants have to specialize in clinical or consulting psychology for the most effective caring?
Yes, we need to have a special care for the maids who work with us, the staff, everyone. Because once in a year, the government people give us that training also with us, where all the staff have to go for the training. And yes, like for the little one, for the really small kids, the Sanakanchi, the first kids from the organization, her mom got released 4 years back. So now she stays with us. So whenever we have a very small kid, she's the one who looks after, because I feel that she can express very well, because she killed her husband and she had a very hard time, and she knows that we are the one to look after her kids when she had a hard time, and that's the reason. So now we have this little boy who came to our place. Now she looks after him very well. So yes, you need to have some training, yes, but the most important thing in this place is the love.
Thank you very much.
Again, another big theme for today, just constant love. Your question.
Hi Pushpa, I'm Jun from Vietnam. I have a little question for you. So, do you think that if your parents did not give you a second chance, so would you become so strong and
admirable woman who brings many life to many kids and become a CNN hero like what you show today?
I think yes, because I got a second chance because suspended from a year from a college, failed in a college for gave one of the biggest exam, but I also got a second chance. But what happens whenever I got a second chance, I never took it as a third chance. I said yes, I made a mistake, I fell down, but give me a one chance. I can prove myself. I think with that also. So now when I see myself in school, college, and everything, I was always a student who always stayed in the back of the bench. Throughout my life career, I never spoke even in front of my teacher. So now when I speak, I'm like, is that me speaking in front of all these people? Because that's what I'm getting. Now I'm getting confident that yes, it's me, the person who did not speak, always who failed. But I think yes, we should get a second chance because we learned the mistake and we don't want to repeat that same mistake, right? So yes.
Thank you for inspiring me.
Thank you.
And I will follow a question on that. If people have parents who really don't support them and won't support them, how do they stay true to their vision and keep on doing what they're doing?
At the first time when I wanted to open this organization also, my father was, because he was the person to make a decision in the family, he was like, no, Pushpa means no. But I was like, no, that's not the thing, I think you have to break that circle. You have to break. You want to do it, don't talk, fine. I didn't spoke with their father for 2 months, fine, but now he'll be the first one to call me up, whenever I go anywhere. So yeah, I think you have to break the circle, but you have to believe in yourself. So this is the thing, you need to dream. I had a dream that to take these kids out from the prison. I had a plan. Okay, I need to set up an organization, So this is, I need to have a board member. You get a harder time. You have to struggle. It doesn't come at once. You just need to do it. Later on, everything will follow.
Thank you for your great presentation. My name is Shohei Hayashi. I'm from Japan. After children are removed from prisons, I think there is potential that they are discriminated by other children or other persons. That is because they are in prison. So my question is that, what do you think, how to prevent this kind of discrimination?
At the beginning time, yes, it was kind of a discrimination between the kids, how they would looked after by the society, getting the education, whatever school uniform they were wearing. I made sure that my kids were on time, foods were on time, the bags were neat and clean, because that's how you represent also to the kids, because now when my kids go to the school, they are neat and clean and everything, so people don't have anything to comment or to pass on. And this is the thing, in my, the way that my kids go to the school, what we get is 3 out of 3 students, 1 gets scholarship. And yes, that's given by the government people. I take that. But I never take anything in free, so that tomorrow the school also will start putting a pressure on me. So I make sure that I pay my kids' fee, so that if tomorrow my kids get into trouble or they get into trouble, I make sure that I go and fight for them, because that's the most important thing. A parent should go and fight for your kids. Yeah, today, if my kids get into trouble, I make sure I go and fight for them. Even the school community people, even the school would think that if you get into trouble, the woman is always bad for these kids, But yes, back in their family, it will be difficult for me to go and stand. Because sometimes what happens, the parents want a private life, and I need to respect that. When the parents come out from the prison, they don't want to start the same life, and they will say that, oh, we want to go back to village, start a new life, and we don't want to keep connection with you. I respect for that, because they are human beings, and I need to respect that. But sometimes, if the parents will say you have to fight for us, yes, definitely I'll fight for them.
Right? Your question.
So, good afternoon, ma'am. I'm Camille from Philippines. So, in many ways, you have the same story of our patron saint, Saint John Baptist de la Salle, who came also from a well-to-do family and was taught to help the children. So, before he extended his help, he was having the second thoughts of helping. So, I'd like to ask if you have the same thing, and how did you recover from this second thoughts?
Did you ever have second thoughts? Did you ever waver or hesitate? Or did you know?
No, I don't think so. I never had a second thought. You know, whatever decision I made at the first time, that was it. But sometimes, yes, when it came to a financial thing, I had to second thought, like, you know, like, because I had to run that shelter, I started cheating my parents, I would say, like selling the gold and everything that was given by me, because that was my second thought, you know, because anyway I had to get the money. So that was the second thought. But regarding the decision that I took, I was always right. Because 10 years, now when I look at it, I just feel like I'm dreaming, you know. And I feel that why things are happening so fast in my life, you know. Whatever I dream, I'm just getting it, you know. And I feel so scared that I tell my parents, I'm being honest with that, I tell my parents that, Mom, I might have a life very short, that's the reason the God is giving me everything, you know, which is the true thing for me, but that's the reality in my life, you know, because whatever I'm dreaming, I've always got it, you know, and which I feel very blessed by the kids, by the people, by the supporters, by everyone. It's just that we are the way I have other people coming up back of me.
Thank you.
Hello, I came from Korea. So it's a good presentation here. Just two questions. How often do they meet their parents? I think young children need their parents. For example, they need to sleep with them and sometimes go to school. They need parents. So how often do they meet their parents? I think it's important to keep balance.
Okay, so all the kids come from a prison, you know, they all stay inside the prison with their parents. So the most important role is on my head as a mother. So this is the word, the mamu means a mother. So I take all the responsibility for all the kids, like, you know, going and taking the report card. I make sure that I attend each and everything events, because tomorrow I don't want them to feel guilty, or I don't want them to feel very sad that, you know, I will have a mother. So this is the thing. But we make sure, like, whatever achievement that they got from the school, we make sure that the kids share with their parents. So, like, if they give any award or anything, I make sure that immediately the kids go and see the parents. The joy of being a parent inside the prison, which is true, but, you know, seeing the success of the kids also makes them happy that, you know, yes, we have hope. Thank you.
And your question?
Okay, thank you very much for your presentation and marvelous work you have been done on behalf of the children all over the world, not only the Nepal. So I'm from Sri Lanka. My name is Mavi. I have a good experience about children, those who are living at the prison with their mothers. I went to the prison several times to see them and for the book and visit our government. So through that experience, I have two questions. I think they will be quite simple. The first one, how did you find those children at the police or probation station, so probation centers, or remand prisons, or prisons? That's my first question. The second one is, do you have mechanism to monitor your children after they have reunited with their families? Thank you very much for your commitment for the children.
Like you said, that how to be approached. Like the first time when I studied my bachelor in social work, I got chance to visit the jail, you know. So one way I saw these kids in the Kathmandu prison. And after I came back, I spoke to my parents. I said that I want to do something. So the next day I went back to the prison. The jailer, the main head person, was a very nice person. He listened to me. He listened to me and he said me that, okay, fine, Pushpa, if you want to do something, like, you know, you can do something, you know. I said to him, like, can I start a daycare inside the prison? I had asked him, and he said me that it's nothing new to start a daycare inside the prison. Why don't you take these kids out from the prison and, you know, have them for the daytime and get them for inside time, you know. And I was like, that was a great idea, you know. But to run an organization, to work with the prison, it's a very difficult task and plus a big responsibility. So I had set up a couple of Diane Flynn as a board member to run that organization, where we approach the jailer with our constitution book and everything, where each and everything is written, what will be our rules, where we'll get our money and everything. So that was the reason, like, he was very impressed when he came to my place to see the shelter. We had set up in a very creativity way, you know, so he was very impressed. So that's the reason, like, he started to, okay, Pushpa, we'll give you the kids. But he said me that he'll give me the kids, but the mother, they never knew, like, you know, where the kids are going to go, because that was the most challenging thing for me, you know, because when we took these kids out from the prison, all of them were really happy because they were thinking, like, you know, because they get out from the prison for daytime. But after a certain time, they felt that they were been out from the prison for, like, you know, for hours, and they started to cry like anything. But I think a couple of weeks, it was used to for them, you know. So after that, we never had a problem. But for the reintegrations, like, you know, we make sure, like, once in a year, like Christmas is the time, like, you know, because all the festival, all the kids go back to prison to celebrate, but the Christmas is the time, like, when all the kids are in the home, so we do a big Christmas party where the kids gets to invite their friends from the school, you know, to come and have the party. So at that time, the kids, you can see how confident they are, you know, because that time, you know, they'll see the, like, bedrooms, library, computer room, and they feel like, look, like, you know, you have your parents, but we have so many things in our life, you know. But I'm not trying to moralize the things, like, you know, but look at the things, like, it's true that your parents are in prison, but look at the opportunity that you are getting. Be respectful. Be thankful for whatever you're getting in your life.
I know everyone's getting excited for lunch, but just a couple of more minutes, and if you could hold your conversations. Just quickly, any way to monitor your children after they leave?
Yes, we do monitor. We do make sure that we visit them, like, unknowingly, knowingly, we make sure we visit them, because we do scholarship, that we provide them scholarship for their education. We do support them for their education throughout the class 10. After class 10, then yes, we look for some sponsor who wants to sponsor them, but till class 10, we do monitor them.
Thank you, Pushpa. Actually, next year I will come to Nepal and see you all.
Sure,
thank you very much.
Hello Pushpa, I'm Francis from the Philippines. I would like to ask a follow-up question from the first question that we've taken. About the case of little Pushpa, we know that the kids may ask, where is my mother, where is my father? So how would you deal with those problems?
The first thing is that what you and I had to do, the kids, they stay inside the prison with their parents. We'll be the first one to get them out from the prison. So they know that, you know, they are staying inside the prison. So they know that they have been from the prison. But like the little ones, they would say like, where is my, but most of the kids, they say that that's their home, the prison is their home, and the way they stay with me, that's a hostel, because they go to a school. So that's how they think. But they all know that their parents come from a prison.
So how would you tell them that their parents are criminals or such?
Sorry?
So how would you say to the kids that their parents have committed something against the law?
How do I see, I would not say how do I see, but I would say that that's the reality of the life. That's the reality of life. I can't change it, but it's just that now I have to see the reality of my kids' life. Give them a better life, that tomorrow they'll not have the same life what their parents had. So I would see it that way.
Okay, thank you, God bless.
And I'm so sorry, this will have to be the last question.
Hi Pushpa, I'm Anuradha from Sri Lanka. My question is, the love and affection from a mother is unique. So how do you ensure, because whether a mother of a particular child, whether she is a prostitute or sell drugs, she's a mother. So how do you ensure the affection? Because if you are taking children out of from their especially from the mother, how you ensure that love and affection within your butterfly home?
Within our butterfly home, or even in the jail also, the most important thing is like, you know, because the kids get to visit their parents, mostly they get to visit their parents, you know, and we make sure that they spend a daytime in the prison. But this is the thing, like in butterfly home, like I've said, like in within my office, yes, I have to be a professional, but without, like, out of my office, I'm not a Pushpa Bashnet. I'm like a mother to them, and I make sure that, you know, I look after them, everything, take care and everything. But we make sure that they do visit their parents and, like, they do have a connection with their family. But somewhere down in the lifeline, I would see that that's their parents. Whatever you say, that's their parents. It doesn't come up with anything with money or anything, but that's their mother. Which is the reality, and which is the reality for me also. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cannot replace the mother's love, and you can never fill that hole if you don't have it. I would like to ask you please to put your hands together for Pushpa.